Welcome to another First and the 15th, hosted by myself, Damilare. And I wanted to do a nice little Q&A because I feel like everybody deserves it. It is now April, which means that I would have already released 6 videos. And with those 6 videos, I spoke about so many different particular things. And I really wanted everybody to be inside and in on, not just the sequence of things, as in like how things will proceed, but also give some people some insight as to what I'm actually doing here and why I'm doing what I'm doing. I asked directly if anybody wanted any questions being answered, and this is me answering those particular questions because they're from people that love me and my work and want to see more of it, but also want to understand it as well. And I think that is fairly important, not just for me but for them. So let's get this going. So okay, tell us about your color combinations. What I do is I use oil paints, and each paint has its own texture, its own feel, its own smell, its own reactivity, its own luminosity, chroma, and saturation, right? So all of these things are considered when I'm actually making a color mixture, right? These are the technical things that my brain goes into when making a color. All right then. So what do these things even mean? Right, so texture is how tactile a color is, and sometimes colors like paste, like pigments coming out of a tube, they feel like a gum or a paste or something of that nature, right? And then there's the smell. So for some people that don't know, expensive oil paints also smell and have a chemical reaction, not just to other oil paints but just the air, right? So there is those things, and those color mixtures do give off a smell sometimes. So my room where I paint, my studio, it will fill with like that smell will fill the air as soon as I do it. That's why I like to paint fast. I like to paint quick. I like to be quite intentional when I'm creating, because really and truly, one thing that I did learn majorly, or as a side note, is to paint in one sitting. It is good and it is great to understand that being able to paint in one sitting is a skill. And one thing that I did want to do for myself, because I didn't want to be one of those artists, those is in quotation marks, I didn't want to be one of those artists that would start a painting and not finish it. Like my stomach gets upset, it starts to get queasy when that happens. Even my worst paintings I did end up finishing. So reactivity, okay, how one pigment reacts to being mixed with another pigment, right? So there are certain colors that are additive, and then certain colors that are, they're additive in either opaqueness, or they're additive in luminosity and the color, and they're additive in terms of like their saturation, right, and the color temperature. So temperature is the one thing that I play with the most, but there are colors like black and red. There are 2 particular colors, cadmium red and ivory black. Those 2 colors, when I tell you that those 2 colors will obliterate any color that they are mixed with, that I'm not even kidding you. I remember in the early days, I started out with a Zorn palette, right? And so that means I had cad red and ivory. They will obliterate any color that they come in contact with. So it will turn into cad red just by the tiniest introduction of it. Anyways, and the same thing with ivory black. It doesn't change the saturation chroma, it just makes it more black. So anything that's dark does not use black at all. Not even the Ojiji themselves. The shadows that have the shadows on them, none of them are made with black. Not even this one. Not even this. Not even this. Nothing has black on it. Anyways, so yeah, like, and Yeah, then we have chroma and luminosity. So some mixes that are treat like seasoning or food. So this is what I like. So when I look at certain colors, some things are spicy, some things are savory, some things are sweet. You know what I'm saying? And when I freestyle it, it's like really like mixing in seasoning. It's like seasoning a color. Like, so I then say a color looks scrumptious, a color looks sweet, and then it's luscious, it's smooth, it's silk, like it's all of these things. Like the texture the texture of a color is, you know, important to me in that manner. So I like to have the right manner of speaking when observing these colors. When observing these colors and their combinations. Alright then. So as you can see, yeah, I don't know whether you are able to actually tell, this color right here, this isn't as bright, it's not as luminous. Like when I say luminous, I mean like shiny. So when I say shiny, I mean it's not like a radioactive color that will glow in the dark. What I wanted to do with this, I wanted to dull it, because I wanted this to feel like the color gold, right? But there's no such thing as gold, and I wasn't going to use a metallic paint, so I had to find a way to get a yellow to feel more like a metallic color, to feel like it's made of iron. This color, however, it is 100% radioactive. It is shiny, it is silky, but it's also very tiki-taka. It's very tactile. So you see this one and this one. This one's more radioactive than this one. These two, as you can see, there's multiple oranges in here that quite legitimately you could say there's 3 oranges. Out of those 3 oranges, this one is radioactive. This one is highly saturated and sweet. This was what I would call I hope you can see it. This is what I would call a sweet color. It's made of sweet. This one is also sweet. Right here. Sweet and luscious. Let me just move it a little bit. As you can see, now you can see the color. So yeah. Give me a sec. Back into the game. Okay, so what else is there? As you can see, Adura Magma is there. The one that is a banner. Is the banner up there. That is a blue unlike all the other blues that I've created. If you have watched the second episode of the 1st and the 15th, I talk in depth about Adura Magma. But this is a savory blue. This is not like me trying to make a sweet. This is very savory. This blue over here is also quite savory, but they're totally different, right? And then the blue right beside it, Seasonal Satin, right? That is a sour blue. It's quite sour, but look at it. It's so forlorn. It is so forlorn. Anyway, but I hope you understand that, right? I hope you understand all of what I'm saying right now. But yeah, that was really good. Yeah, so have you used the symbol? The next question is,